you, and if you're trying to hit him, he'll phase shift dodge you, so you can't really trade hits all too easily. And then if you're trying to hit him, he's going to line up his spells.
Puppey continuing to add the harass here to S4 MP, looking for the first hit bash. Ooh,
so
actually
you can't
doesn't
really
need
trade
it. The
hits
heal
all
buff
too
does
easily.
it. Secret finding kill up top.
Some good aggression. Getting the early second point in Whirling Axes. You see a lot of these safe lane trolls go for like a 4-1-4 build, but MP, knowing he's kind of the fighting core for Secret, going for the more aggressive build.
So anything really surprise you? Oh, bottom lane. Yep, so we're going to find the Impale here. And meanwhile, a decent torn by that Nick's able to run him down. Now they X Kezu. They have some decent charges on Soul Assumption here, but it is only level 1, so Fly's going to have to disengage. The stun comes through. Secret looking for a bit more. The Gush again, combining with that Anchor Smash. Secret's dual lane popping off. They find 2 kills bottom, and they live to tell the tale.
Yeah, they are off to such a good start, forcing the early harass on a no-tail shoot through the start of his tangos. He's taking even more. He went for an early ring of regen just to try and sustain himself in this lane, but boy, is he struggling to get anything here, and that is a bit of a concern. The lanes are going well, but only the mid lane is being won. The off lane is not an easy lane for S4 to play in.
Jarex continues to rack up runes. This game will grab the regen bottom. Lobs out the torrent. Only preventing Yapzor from getting that, and now he's going to look for the bounty rune. Won't be there for him. Already picked up, but not able to get a whole lot else done on the Kunkka. That first rotation towards mid did not work out. Been the rune so far.
Yep.
So, I mean, by Jarex standards, where like we saw the last time he played Kunkka, he got a double kill mid and almost single-handedly it felt like was winning the game. Obviously, we all know what he can do with Earth Spirit and Tusk. This is a relatively quiet start.
Yep. This was talked about the Battle of the Fours. So far, Yapzor having the better of this matchup, but that may change as Jarex is mid with the Dream Coil.
Oh, this is tough for onto him, but the Torrent's not going to connect. Mid one outplays him, and now Ana's going to go down. Very well done. Puppey coming in a bit late, but wasn't actually needed for that fight.
Yeah, and Yapzor then pops the clarity. He's just... But it was, yeah, Puppey, the saving grace when that dive went out is... That's a big punish. Getting the first Dream Call wasted and the turnaround kill in the Puck, that pretty much equalizes what was a very Puck-dominated mid lane. Puck still has the net worth advantage, but mid one gets his level 6 and is able to fall back and jungle a bit off of this.
They're setting up on bottom again, swarming in onto Fly. The 2 hero impales there, beautifully done by Yapzor. Now the Gush coming through. That Anchor Smash is gonna hurt, but not enough to bring Fly down. We'll force him on his heels. Kezu retreating for now. And they're going to get the Arcane Boot soon, so they can really fuel this aggression, the spam on the bottom lane.
Oh, you can just constantly Gush, Anchor Smash, throw impales. OG won't be able to hold their own at bottom at that point. They'll have to dedicate 3 heroes constantly to it. Another rune for Jarex. But much with this haste just denies it from the annoying Nyx Assassin.
Where does Yapzor go next? Rotating towards mid. Maybe expecting the jump. Losing gold lead for Secret against a Drow lineup. Just shows you how crucial that turnaround play in the mid lane was. And they get eyes on Jarex. Yapzor, though, unfortunately has been scouted out. They're going to tort him. Orb committed, but he's able to... Nation comes in again. It's Puppey saving the day. Apparently, Yapzor needs his nose bloodied more often because he is stepping up his game here. OG, another death for them.
Yikes, that is some great turnaround play. Yapzor having the stick. They just did not anticipate for that heal coming in from Yapzor's magic stick. They maybe just hadn't kept tabs of how many charges he had. They get the kill without it, but the insta-heal, Dazzle then shows up as an insurance policy, but even without Puppey's TP, that was going to end poorly for them, so...
It was one of those weird plays where like OG saw Yapzor in the trees because of their ward, but I don't think they saw him drop his ward because he moved into fog. Yeah. So they didn't realize the Kunkka was actually scouted, which made Puppey very quick on the rotation. Caught them a bit by surprise.
Hit level 6 on Drow, as well as Brewmaster. That's where they can start grouping up, going for some 5-man push plays. The Brew ulti can kind of protect the Drow Ranger, and then having the marksmanship will give them a lot of extra damage.
Great start here, by all accounts, for Secret. And, of course, there is a troll freely farming up top. Haven't really had a whole lot to say about that lane. MP 51 and 26, as you would expect. Not easy for a Brewmaster, and what's been mostly a 2v1 aside from those Dazzle TPs. S4 certainly struggling. So really everything going according to plan for Secret. If the ship.
Yeah, I think smoking around level 6 on Brew could work. Problem is you've got very under-leveled supports, but the Puck Dream Call is a good enough initiation with a Brew split that you can definitely make plays happen.
Mid one going in pretty aggressively on Jerax here, but he's out of mana now. Won't be able to find the kill. Secret making the 3-hero move. They'll reset.
No kill for that. Feeling pretty good about these lanes. They'll see that all 3 of their cores are farming well. They know they've killed the Drow once, and that no-tails itemization isn't really progressing all too fast. This Visage down bottom, this is definitely one of the biggest weaknesses when he gets pressured at the level 1, level 2 stages. Visage not very good, and the Drow Visage especially weak, because typically you want to pair Visage with a hero with a lot of burst damage so you can actually get the Soul Assumption up, but a Drow Ranger is not really the ideal hero to do that. So there's good synergy between the birds with the aura, but as far as the lane stage goes, a very weak lane.
OG do have a Veil of Discord now on Honest Puck, and they, from the mid lane, from right to left on your screens, heading up to the north. Hoping to find Puppey. Perhaps MP tucked away in the trees, but they do have a Brew split backing this move up, so there's 4 heroes. Timing if they can get a decent initiation, but a scan comes through from the Dire and did see No Tail behind S4. Already Secret suspicious. MP's going to TP out. Puppey tucked in the trees, hiding for now, and instead they will sweep around towards mid, looking for an opening. But while that's all happening, this long and slow, laborious maneuver has not paid off because Secret were quicker on the draw. They find the kill bottom. With a coil committed, Yapzor just trying to get himself in front of the orb so that he can stun this Puck, who does find a regen rune. Secret, again, one step ahead. Oh, X here, maybe with the... they don't have any follow-up detection by the looks of things. Looking for the turnaround now, dodging the stun, nicely done. Not easy with the level 1 phase shift, but they bring Kezu in. He's got Ravage, and here comes the flank. Secret ready to pounce. They've got the whole 5-man squad about. Can they kill off this Tide in time? No, he gets off the Ravage. A tentacle surprise. Not to OG's liking either. Ana, though, staying alive for now. Will be able to disable that regen rune. Mid 1, not able to complete the kill. So after all that, nobody dying.
Ana did a great job with the phase shift there. Dodges a Nyx Impale and a Ravage. He was on point with his spell usage. Otherwise, he goes down on numerous occasions. Brought down the Tide. Visage, if he had mana for just one more Soul Assumption, would have been able to secure the kill, but because of that bad laning stage, Fly has no items, doesn't have the magic stick, which would have given him some charges to use, doesn't have any. OG still probably pretty happy. Ravage comes out, tower top goes down. They do trade it for bottom, so it's a pretty even tower trade at this point, but ultimately when you trade towers and a Ravage is burned, you're probably feeling okay for OG considering the bad start they had.
Yeah, certainly, I think they're fine with the way they've recovered. Helm of the Dominator now complete on No Tail. We've seen this build more from him recently, especially on the item. It's not a very popular item nowadays with the changes to it, but do you like the pickup?
Kind of got transitioned more into a support item with the aura being the main component of the. Something No Tail does incredibly well is micro the creep. For scouting purposes, for stacking jungle camps, he is very good at utilizing the neutral itself. So I think he's a player that will get value.
On the smoke, they might have an opening here, but the Knight has fallen in mid 1. Worst possible position for him. He'd balled down to the low ground and right into the entire enemy squad. He gets pulled back by the X. The timing's not right, and OG will easily clean him up. And indeed, on top of that, they'll grab the tower too. This is a big coup for them.
Yeah. You see Tide picked a lot against Drow lineups. Not so, I mean, it's kind of a counter. There was always this like swing back and forth. Like you defend the push with a Ravage, but then the next 2 minutes while Ravage is on cooldown, you lose a tower or two. And that's exactly what OG makes sure happens. Ravage gets used mid. They instantly go for a pickoff, find it, take an objective. And I think we're going to see that kind of continue with OG. Anytime Ravage gets used, they need to make something happen somewhere on the map. And for Secret, they need to make sure when they use a Ravage, they're winning a lot of value out of the spell.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Ravage about to come back online. Also do see the pipe buildup now beginning for KheZu. So Secret really emphasizing that 5-man potential in later skirmishes up against a Puck with a Veil, a Kunkka as well. There's already massive magic burst there.
Yeah, typically you think if you want to go tanky type with no blink, you go for the mech, and you see physical damage Drow. This is the Puck with all the items, so I do like
stalking a target here. He moves on to Fly, but Fly had the Gravekeeper's Cloak, so took hardly any damage from that initial Vendetta strike. Yeah. He'll be just fine.
A bit poking around. Out of it.
They got a ward down, but that was it from the smoke. Nothing else really gained.
I believe this is where OG, now with Ravage back up, are going to play more of a farm game. They've got stacks for No-Tail to farm in his jungle. He's could do with a bit more in terms of items, getting up the treads, whatever else he wants to go with it, and just making sure that he can get a few more levels as well on top of that. He's only got 2 points in the aura because he's kind of
prioritized he found the opening mid. Good timing on the Carapace punishing Ana, but not enough to finish him off. He manages still to get away. Orb, phase shift, see you later. And that was a big time for him to survive. He is only 30 gold short of the blink. Looks like he should get it now.
Did that without even having to pop all those one charges. They'll get a blink on Ana around the same time S4 has his, so they can look to pair up, use these as a good initiation tool. We'll see whether or not Secret's going to be ready for some kind of aggressive maneuvers likely to come from OG's draft at this stage.
Puck has really risen to prominence in this event especially. It's like we saw it just getting banned both games by VP versus EG. OG, now when they have a chance to use it, Ana showing off some quick fingers and doing a lot in the mid lane. Like they had that one overconfident play with the missed torrent by Jarex costing them, but had that torrent hit, that's even more of a one lane. And well, the Puck now can ramp up his impact as he helps clear the Ancients and has the blink to initiate.
Great when you can pick a hero in a draft and run it in either a mid or off lane position. Although this time they picked it up after the brew anyways, just as a good partner to go with the Drow. And OG have the smoke ready, Fly ready to go. There is a Nyx Assassin right nearby though.
YapzOr could just completely blow the skank up before it even gets going.
Yeah, there's a sentry he's going to walk into, but they don't have vision near it, so they don't actually see him just yet.
Another deep maneuver.
Another sentry. They're very proactive with this detection.
It is nighttime, though. Don't think No-Tail saw him. Sweeping behind the tower. YapzOr moving now to the north and finds an Ancient stack here in just a moment. Gets eyes on it. Walking past the birds. He swings back around again. Gives a little love tap to one of those. And will it be a costly love tap? Carapace coming out. Good phase shift dodge there. Continuing to be on point is Ana. Now the Bruce Split committed. Nice grave by Puppey. Buys YapzOr time, but that might be it. There's the X to turn things around. The boat crashes through. Hits the tide, but he does have the hood available. They're committing a lot for this follow-up. Perhaps Ana's in too far. He wants to orb away. Look to turn the fight. As still patiently waiting, KheZu just has to find the opening for the Ravage here. Finally it comes through right as the Bruce Split ends. Do they have the follow-up damage? That's the question. They bring down No-Tail. They look for more. Locking Fly down again. Dropping rapidly on the Visage. And now Jarex on the retreat. Good slow there from MP. Surging forward. There's not a whole lot of control for him right now. The Brew blinks past him. S4 won't be able to offer a whole lot as MP gets that kill. And now with the Battle Trance can help secure the follow-up. Mid one's there. Finding a fourth. Looking for the fifth. But Ana is going to be too elusive. In fact, he might try to go on KheZu. KheZu, no hood for a little while.
Don't want to orb into a Carapace.
Guess who's back? Back again. It's YapzOr, and there is a sentry waiting. So can he bait this by any chance? YapzOr sticking around. No creeps to reveal the sentry just yet. But that is about to change. Yeah, now YapzOr knows there's something fishy, and he'll get out.
Ana was playing that, oh, let's pretend I don't see you little trick, but creeps
hard to do that in the middle of the lane.
Yeah, creeps do not play along, unfortunately. And YapzOr will get back to safety, but a great fight from Secret. But now Ravage goes down, and again, it was a good fight, but it wasn't like a convincing one. They still lost a couple of heroes. The Bruce Split was perfectly microed from S4. They just didn't quite have the damage output to kill off the Tide with the hood build that he's gone. And the questions now come from OG if they can punish Ravage being down by taking some objectives. Jarex is like just throwing his ghost ship top. He wants to push and push fast. Just clears a creep wave with his ultimate.
Mid one does have a DD rune bottled up now. It closes in on the Bloodstone. He'll TP out. That's for not a whole lot he can do about that, but does at least try to slow down his farm progression. So we'll see YapzOr moving into position up top. Don't see any sentries right now. There is a dust on Fly, but he'll pop it, just kind of expecting YapzOr might be nearby, judging by the Tide's posture. But once again, YapzOr gets out, and gods, this is really costing OG's economy. Their supports are quite poor compared to his Nyx. Just the power of invisibility.
Yeah. I do like that Fly is being so active, buying constant sentries and dust. He does because his sentries aren't there, and he's like, if Nyx is on us, we could just die. I'm going to dust, and my sentries will arrive soon. So then, once the dust wears off, I'll have sentries to play around, but
it's
you've
economic
got to do
damage
this.
anyway. So YapzOr is fine with that, I think, in the end.
Yep, absolutely. It's still definitely favoring Secret when you lay these sentries in dust, you want to get kills, because that's how you recoup the cost. But if you're not actually killing off the Nyx, he's only died once this game, you end up losing a lot of money, and perhaps if you're snowballing, taking towers, that's fine, but that's not really the case for OG. Ravage back up, very hard to push now.
So there's a lull in the action, gods. We're about 19 minutes in. It's a secret lead, and you know when we opened this game, you talked about OG being on a bit of a timer. When does that timer start to expire, and what are they waiting for before they make their next move?
They're going to perhaps have a few more windows where they just hit like some key levels where they get big boost in damage, like Visage having level 2 ultimate, Brewmaster has his level 2 ulti.
He is getting caught, though. Big jump in the mid lane. Mid one completely whipping on the first ball lightning, but the follow-up was there. And now deploying a volley of nukes onto Ana. They look to focus him down. The heal bomb from Puppey does a lot. The boat, very ineffective as Kezu now has a completed pipe. And Secret,
Yikes.
Once again, winning a fight.
Kind of approaching that point where their window may almost be gone. Like their damage output against this pipe is going to be severely negated. Puck with the Veil combo, as well as the Kunkka AoE damage is the majority of it, but...
And they're feeling like they have to take the Roche fight now. Problem is, those kills were grabbed freely without a Ravage committed. So though S4 will buy back, this is not a power play by any stretch for OG. And Secret say, we'll just walk away. The other thing is, if the magic damage is mitigated, you can't really count on physical either, gods. There's Dazzle Weave to worry about. He's now picked up a medallion. Tide, of course, is Kraken Shell. Troll has the blind. So there's a lot, even the Vlads pick up. Secret have itemized well to deal with physical as well as magical output from OG.
Definitely, to put it simply, OG in a lot of trouble. Are going to have to find a way to outmaneuver Secret, take a fight on their own terms, use vision to ideally find picks on the Nyx Assassin and just set up kills on the Storm Spirit. Tide's a hero you just need to avoid. Problem is, Secret's not going to let you avoid them. They're going to keep running at you. They smoke up. Nyx ready to engage. This is a potential dieback too.
So no tail. Oh, yep, and in a lot of trouble. S4 is going to go down top.
Perhaps just Roche if they want to run right there.
Brew does not have buyback. They know it's a dieback here, so if they just march into the pit, it's likely a freebie. See that dire scan already, making sure OG have not been sneaking it. But
very concerning right now.
No-Tail has gone into a Ghost Scepter as well here on the Drow.
Looking to protect himself against Troll and Storm.
But you're mentioning they don't have damage, and he has to build defensively, so it just makes it even harder to dish it out.
Yep. Can't really blame him considering his position. He's getting jumped by the Storm. The Ghost Scepter will help protect you against those overload charges.
Trying to get a little cheeky here, OG, with the X plays to ensure Ana's safe retreat, but Secret, no finesse required. Just brute forcing the Roche right now. Battle Trance committed.
5 seconds
Perhaps
till Brew.
Looking for the Roche steal. Ana thinking about the jump in. Will he have the opening? Not yet, but the birds come in. Ana jumps through. The Aegis on the deck. The Roshan claimed, though, by the Dire. The Aegis theirs as well. It was a gambit by OG. Perhaps a desperation one. It does not pay off. And now the chase is on. Secret hounding No-Tail on the retreat. These remnants are going to hurt even with the Ghost Scepter. He won't make it out. Mid one crashing through the back lines. 18 Bloodstone charges. Lickety split just like that. He's 50% more on the Mana regen.
This is not how OG want this game to play out with a Drow Ranger on their team, and the lane's being punished. YapzOr bullying the bottom lane has resulted in a significant Secret lead. They just crushed both bottom and top. The mid lane damage was being entirely recovered as mid one is number 2 on net worth with 18 charges, and there is little OG can do as far as team fight right now.
And it's already YapzOr hunting for these next kills. He gets eyes on S4. Storm mana pool pretty good right now with the 18 Bloodstone charges back to full. I think they're calling for this jump on S4 as he rotates in. First they're going to deal with the puck, and then they can cut off S4 at the pass if they want to jump in, but no need for that. The rest of the team says, let's just take the tower, let's focus on objectives.
Yep.
And those are also easily slain. Secret are firing on all cylinders here. A win against OG just gives them all kinds of confidence. heading into tomorrow. It's only game 1, but things certainly looking very Secret favored right now.
Yeah. Kezu just manning up, like posts up, says, try and initiate on me.
S4 hits the shrine for all he's worth, tries to hang on, but this Brew is forced into an extremely defensive posture. OG will force them back eventually. But no real rush here for Secret. Yep. There's a Shiva's Guard for the Tidehunter to grab next. Certainly Storm can scale. And, you know, Refresher Tide late game is a real threat if Secret have to take it there. Blink on the Troll coming. There's plenty of room here to continue farming.
It's one of those games where it's, for them, in their minds, probably just a matter of time. Like, they probably feel like we have the better mid game, we also have the better late game. Let's just not rush it because of that. If an opportunity presents itself for a pick-off into a high ground push, sure, we'll take it. But if we can't do anything with this advantage of ours for now, we'll just keep farming.
Look who it is again. It's Yapzor in position. This time, though, OG already. He takes the courier down with him. Maybe the reinforcements arrive in time. Not quite. Kezu was in the neighborhood mid, but no blink and no ravage for 10 seconds. So it's still a courier kill. Like,
yeah,
even then, it's
kind of an even trade.
It's an even gold trade, really, at the end of the day.
Early gem pickup from Kunkka. This is like we're getting completely screwed right now. We've got to buy a gem. There's no second thoughts on this one. You lose all your outer towers. That's where you need the gem even more because you want to deny that dire vision. If you try and move out on the map when you've got no towers and Secret's got the map control, they're going to see you. They're going to hunt you down. They'll pick you off. So it's crucial to de-ward and always have eyes on the Nyx Assassin right now. But it's still like one of those like play from behind gems where it's not going to necessarily solve a lot of their problems.
Did use a blink there to dodge away from Kezu, but Secret were interested in going on him. The X by Jerex, not something that's OG looked to follow up. And now Secret falling up again in the middle lane.
Potential with this Invis room, but the rest of the team smoking up. They'd love to try and burst Dazzle and Nyx first.
MP also in position to break this. He's got a blink if he's quick, but as you mentioned, Ana coming from behind could be a huge coil. Big opportunity. They jump Puppey early, trying to bring him down. Quickly, they pop the smoke up to C to try to disengage Secret. The Cycloning the Tidehunter up in the air, keeping him out of position for now while they focused on No-Tail Secret, trying to bring him down, but the Ghost Scepter does a decent amount to keep him alive. X coming through as well, not very effective in this particular case. Down goes No-Tail, and now as the Brew split ends, perhaps we see that follow-up chase. Mid one still a healthy mana pull, 20 charges for him. Jumping towards Ana if he can get the pull. Ana's in a lot of trouble. Does manage to do it. S4 there with the 3-hero clap connection, but they need the follow-up stuns to come out from Fly. Chasing forward on the Eps with the Carapace well-timed and could put the Visage in harm's way. Jumping in again. Mid one, he's got a little too much regen for OG to deal with. Now turning back for Fly. The Impale's there from Secret, just outlasting them. Superior stamina for Secret down the stretch. They'll find 3. They fight their way right through the big team fight combo. They only drop the Troll and even still have the Aegis after all that.
22 charges for mid one. What are you going to do to deal with this Storm? There is no answer in sight. They had the vision advantage. They had the Invis puck. They jumped the Dazzle as you have to. It's kind of like this catch-22. It's like, you know you've got to kill the Dazzle because anyone else you go in is going to get saved by him. But at the same time, you use your key spells, your Brew split, your puck combo on a Dazzle. If they can get him, ideally they want like a hero to be sitting right next to the Dazzle so they can dump puck spells on both heroes since they're AoE, but they didn't quite line up so they could get an easy second kill. Troll did go down, but it was still a big win for Secret there. Storm getting more farm, Storm getting more charges means this game gets harder and harder for OG to play.
Yeah, running a Drow lineup, building into very defensive items for No-Tail and more like mid-game timing-focused items as well. Nobody went greedy this game. OG with pretty mediocre scaling potential, given all those considerations. Visage, sure, a support that can scale, but he ain't scaling with this farm. And again, so much of that, gods, it goes back to the Nyx pick. Like the economic damage he's done, just forget about the kills for a second. It's thousands of gold that had to be spent just to try and keep eyes on him between the gem, the sentries, the dust, and he's still getting kills on top of that, and as well as limiting their farm. He
completely shut down this Drow Ranger, and without top lane able to do well, it meant OG are in a tough spot. Another smoke coming out. This could be really the last hurrah in some ways from OG.
Barring a big fight.
Yeah, they need this fight to go well. If Storm somehow wins this one as well,
He's got a regen bottled. He's in prime opportunity to make big plays. Mid one jumping in, starts the party, gets the first kill, and now turning to the Visage. Nice stun from the low ground. Make it 2, gem down as well. Familiar is even in danger. And MP hunting through the trees, looks for No-Tail. Go Scepter, perhaps the savior. Balling in mid one has no electric vortex to lock him down, but 15,000 gold. All red in the net worth bar.
Well, that's
all secret at this point.
Yeah, the gem swing is, in my mind,
Anna's feeling the desperation now. Walks right into a carapace and right into his own demise. Even the courier's getting on the action, and it's got a Yule Scepter too. Ouch. That's a costly pickoff, and OG are crumbling in front of the onslaught presented by Secret. They find another. It's one to the next. No-Till popping the shrine and trying to run. Not going to make it very far. The Bruce split easily dealt with. OG have had enough. Secret come out all guns a-blazing here in game one.
Yeah. No racks down, but completely wiped. I think a lot of other teams other than OG would have called that one even earlier, but OG, one of the better team fighting lineups out there, thought they could maybe try and put together one last hurrah, but Secret just too good. Formidable laning stage from them. Pressured the Drow Ranger and winning the lanes. You win 2 of the 3 lanes. The one lane you lose ends up recovering really nicely. Like that's just a good recipe for success there.
As for OG, their tournament lives could be on the line here. No guarantee they make it to the playoffs. They really need to take the series, and it's not looking good right now.
Losing is guaranteed elimination from them. So OG got to win 2 games back-to-back. Secret, this is a series where they're already in the playoffs. Winning this doesn't get them the first seed. The LFY series is the series that matters, but for them, if you get a chance to play OG and knock OG out of a tournament, you take that. That's something that's going to definitely help their resume trying to get a TI invite.
Oh, Secret finally finding their form here on LAN. Some have criticized them as being a group stage team, but gods, they are looking good so far in the group stage.
Things just got very scary for OG and OG fans alike. Secret, in a game that necessarily, as the casters have outlined, isn't necessarily the most important of the day for them, still putting up a spectacular performance both in draft and play, now leaves OG looking a little lost. A reverse sweep needed to keep themselves with a chance for those playoffs. Joined by Winter, Malini and Purd, we're going to try and explain as to why that has occurred. And I mean, Ben, where does this start? Where does this story begin for you in terms of that loss starting to appear and encroach OG?
I mean, Puck dying twice in a row to Dazzle TPing in the mid. Puck's a hero that you want to like flirt with disaster a lot because you want to bait out a lot of spells from the enemy team, but you don't actually want to die. That's not the end play.
Play the game.
And he was doing very well in the lane too, and he was like, what, 50 CS up to maybe, I don't know, 20-something on Ana, but Ana was able to get those couple of kills and equalize his net worth. This is supposed to be a terrible lane for the Storm. The Puck with the Drow aura, and they lost a lot of momentum when he died those couple of times. And I think YapzOr played out of his mind that game.
That was the part that really stood out to me. Was the last time that OG did this draft, it was a fairly straightforward lane. They didn't really get pressured, but when you have a Nyx Assassin hero that's typically an offlane hero and you throw a poor man's on him, that means that he's just trying to abuse the enemy supports. And the heroes he was trading against is a Visage who has 0 armor at the start of the game, and that's against a hero that has high regen on Nyx, high armor, and a poor man's shield. Like, there's no way you trade effectively there. So it was very easy for them to bully the enemy lane and make Drow Ranger less effective.
The newest addition for Secret looking fresh then, yep. So does he catch your eye as much as it does Kevin's?
Yeah, every time I talk about Secret, I think YapzOr is the person that I like to talk about the most. I think he is the up-and-coming Jerax kind of player. Jerax, Creedza, he's the next upcoming support. And this game he showed why we are always constantly praising him. He played really well, definitely the MVP for me.
And we got to see that. I mean, we get to see Jerax versus YapzOr, and in this instance, YapzOr comes out on top. I mean, OG, they kind of made a statement ahead of this event saying that we're not quite on the same form we were in Kiev. I mean, Ben, you said, how long was it off? 3 weeks?
3 weeks? Yeah,
3 weeks. Oh, sorry, Winter. Yeah, so 3 weeks off. And it's clear. I mean, it's evidence in their play that they're not quite the same OG we saw at the Major. This is how the gameplay looked, though. These are your highlights. I mean, the Tide Hunter was something that was criticized previously. Just kind of people were uncertain as to where it fit into the draft, but it seems to have worked out perfectly fine for them on Kezi.
It's hard to kill.
Yeah, I mean, we did talk about how if Secret were to pull off the win in this game with their lineup previously, 8 hours ago.
Yeah, their win conditions.
They had to win their lanes, and we weren't convinced how they are going to win their lanes easily because they're against the Drow. But in the end, they were able to get the 2 counter kills, like Ben mentioned. The Dazzle TPing to mid twice, allowing the Storm to get himself back into the game. That was really crucial, killing the Puck in the process.
Right.
Otherwise, Storm would be really, really far behind this game.
They do love this Dazzle Tide combination, and the Tide Hunter was just extremely difficult to kill for them all game. And mid one had his Bloodstone a little bit too early, I would say, for them to handle. He had a lot of charges, even despite what should have been a very, very bad lane for him. And I think them not being able to do Roche after taking a big fight was one of the biggest. This was like the big fight that I'm talking about. That, yeah, Secret won a fight, but usually you would immediately respond with a Roche. Instead, I believe they smoked to the top and weren't able to take Roche, and by that time, Ravage had already cooled down.
You can see what Yaps was up to as well. Just creeping and crawling.
Yeah, didn't really feel like much from the Brewmaster, the team fight that we talk a lot about, the Brew, Puck, and the Kunkka boat. They were just constantly getting jumped first by the Nyx, either the Nyx or the Storm. They constantly got the initiation advantage, and it went to a point where right now, like here, Secret got control of the Roshan, and they are up against a Drow threat. You take the Roshan away from them. Very similar to Ursa. I mean, Ursa, Drow, heroes like this, they rely a lot on the Roshan. They don't get the Aegis. Game becomes really, really difficult to a point where No Tail actually went for a Ghost Scepter. That is really, really bad.
I really like that Kezu rushed a pipe as well this game because his opponents were very magic damage focused for the early mid game rather than going for the typical mech. It basically, it felt like it just shut down what Kunkka does completely because the hero obviously can do easy catch, but damage wise it's just one torrent, one boat, and if that hits 5 heroes or something and there's a pipe active, it offsets almost all the damage, and just then you're sitting with a Kunkka that doesn't have anything other than that.
Yeah, the Puck as well. Like the Puck went for an early veil, so that was definitely really, really good against what OG was building in that game.
And they combined the pipe with the weave, and then the plus armor talent. They were quite immortal. I think he also had early Vlads. So.
Yeah, talk about the items. They had a Vlads on Troll. They had a drum on Nyx. They had a pipe. They had what? Desert Medallion. So basically all the team items are available on Secret. And they were only missing a mech, I believe. No one had a mech.
Didn't even seem like they needed it.
Yep. Everything was just going way too well.
It certainly did. The stats will tell the rest of the story for you in terms of that. I mean, it was just a bit of a one-sided affair. The question about what OG brought into that one was that the Ghostblade, what did you have a problem with that? Excuse me,
Ghost Scepter.
Ghost Scepter, do excuse me.
It's a mage item, thank you.
And just giving it to Dro, I mean
it's like
you can't attack while you use it, and she's a right clicker.
You're telling your team, right? Okay, I am not going to be doing damage as a carry. I'm just trying to survive. But I mean, when you decide to buy that kind of item on a carry, it means the situation has been.
It's delaying the inevitable at that point? Is that how
it's like you're not even trying to win already, and then the situation is really, really bad. I'm not saying he's throwing the game, but I'm just saying the situation, he felt the situation was so bad that to the point where he needed a Ghost Scepter. That's how bad it was.
Right, understood. And this is the stats which do point in one team's direction primarily.
Where is the Drow?
Come on, is the Drow ever going to be top 5? Let's be real. That hero's not good damage-wise. So yeah, maybe it would have... Maybe Ghost Scepter, you don't do damage for 4 seconds, but it's just still such a bad hero if you get behind, and that's exactly what happened.
I think Ben was talking about his build as well. Before that, he went for like a helm.
Helm, yeah. You have a team fight item, but you're trying to fight up against the drums, the pipe, all the Vlads, all these team fight items, and into a Tide Hunter. And I think that eventually they did have to 5-on-5 because they were meant to split push and take on towers, but they weren't supposed to be that far behind. That was
Dragonlance BKB.
Yeah, or Pyke. I think Pyke's really good at dealing with the troll to force him to get a BKB, like Pyke BKB, perhaps something like that.
But he eventually definitely needs a BKB at some point.
Even Silver Edge to actually kill the Kunga or kill the
Dragonlance.
Tide.
Something.
Yeah, but 0 kills, and he had very low damage and probably very low tower damage. They only took down the T1s in the game. But that's
like what he did in the game was he got the helm and he stacked Ancients and he tried to farm the Ancients and he wasn't very effective. He was not very far ahead in terms of like his economy.
I think that was just a result of the game though. The last time he did it, he got a fast Alpha Wolf and he used it to push towers and it was effective. Like it just, again, I keep talking about Drow is a bad hero when you're behind. Like Ben, you said
that's true.
Silver Edge, maybe other items, but I just don't see, like, farming is not the way for you to get ahead on Drow. It's pushing towers,
Momentum
sometimes fighting, sometimes doing a little ganking, but it's very passive.
Okay, so just out of interest, what is something that you would put in the opposite category? You know, what would you put in something that can come back from behind, that is comfortable at playing at a deficit?
Slug.
In the carry role.
Teamfight heroes, gank heroes.
Yeah.
I like
split
Slug.
push heroes.
If you're behind in Slug, you can catch up easily.
Just find the squishy person, you kill them 8 times.
Find the squishy.
Yeah.
Hunt the squishy.
Yeah, but remember we were talking about how Dazzle should be played.
Yes, the
This
Razzle
game,
Dazzle.
Puppy's Dazzle was very, very effective. The 2 times he saved the Storm Spirit, the 2 TPs that he made, well, that was like game-changing. That's what you need to do as a Dazzle.
He took it away from Fly as well. To see, because that was the first draft, if I'm not mistaken. That was, I can actually double check. I have it in front of me.
And
Yeah, first pick Dazzle. So
it's been a big pick for OG for sure.
Because we've seen Fly being kind of putting it in quite high regard as well. The stats we've been providing are provided by a sponsor, cybersport.com. So be sure to check over there. They've got like news as well as articles and statistics, everything in between, keep you updated, and not even just Dota. So that's worth checking out. And with sponsors mentioned, I do think we have to kind of start turning our attention to, is this the last game? Is this really the end of OG? It's quite a deflating end. Should this be the last game of Dota played in the group stage?
It'd be rough, especially how after Manila Masters went underperforming there as well. I mean, they did have a big break, but 2 in a row, it's a little harsh. But ultimately, I think the only thing that affects is their morale, because I think they are easily locked for a TI invite. So even a little bit of underperformance here is fine, as long as they don't go like 0-6 with no game wins and not even close. So I think it's just morale for them. They gotta keep their heads up and fly into TI and try to take the 1 trophy they don't have.
I mean, it shows how competitive it is. You win Kiev Major, and then you take a break, and then suddenly everyone else is ahead of you because they didn't take a break.
The game and the results can be very, very volatile. OG's break perhaps punishing them. We have a tweet coming in from Polkadota. Here's the 6 levels of a 50% win rate, but no leg strategies seem too good. Solid analysis. That's good. You see, that's what we need. They say stats don't tell you the whole story. That is the whole story, ladies and gentlemen. Now we know.
That's an old meme.
Oh yeah,
that's an ancient meme. That's TI2 meme.
They're recycling memes. I'm not. I haven't got my degree in memology like Dimitri.
Yeah, you're out of date.
I actually met Dimitri for the first time. I actually saw his face. He's as handsome as I imagined. Truly. Oh. The Russian supermodel. With all of that said, I think I want to return to this morale discussion, because I think, Ben, I want to know you from your personal perspective, whether you know these players much better than I. Are these personalities that can be prone to kind of taking a loss like this, and now what could be 2 losses, quite premature in a tournament, to heart?
I don't think it'll affect them that much. They've been through so much together. I think it's way more worrisome for a team that's like on the verge of disbanding. Right, but OG, they're probably the least likely team to disband along with EG, I would say, at this point. So it's much less shaky for them. As for these other teams that are near the bottom of the bracket, like Na'Vi, Clutch, and Planet Odd, the talks of disbands happens right now, right before the TI qualifiers. So, like, yeah. So for OG, it's not that big of a deal. They just need to think about